friends, welcome to Gethsemane 7 at 7. Thanks so much for joining me this evening, and I want to apologize up front. I have not had time to practice. Usually I take a little bit of time to practice, but that has just not been in my day today, so if I get my words a little mixed up, just forgive me, if you would. So this month's sermon series is entitled Light It Up, and that's part of us just letting our light shine for God, for other people. And Pastor John said something in his sermon that I'm going to quote that really struck a chord with me, and it's, when you are experiencing a deficit of love, go to the source. And, it seems really simple, and it is, but sometimes it's, I don't know, we kind of make it a little bit difficult. But who is the source of love? Well, God. God is love. The Bible even says that. But how can we even tell when we're experiencing a deficit in love? Like, what does that even look like? And something that I've learned kind of with different things that I've studied is that our feelings sometimes can be our gauges for what's going on inside. And so I know just for me, for example, and this evening is one of those examples, I get kind of low on patience. We can be grumpy, short with other people, sad, any of those feelings that are not clearly coming from God. And so that when that happens with me, I can tell, like, okay, I have not probably spent my time that I need to with God. And not that there's any set time, but, sometimes we say a little quick prayer or whatever, or we can do our kind of grocery list of things, but we don't really spend time with Him. And that's usually, when I start to have a lot of those feelings. And that just kind of lowers my, it gives me a deficit in love. And so why is this really important even? And what does this have to do with Light It Up? Love is everything. Like I said, the Bible says that God is love, okay? And a lot of times I think people, when we say things like that, when we quote that verse and we talk about love, people think so many times that is just all fluffy stuff, or it's hippie stuff, and it's love, peace, and hair grease, or whatever. And it's not anything serious, but love is so serious, and it's not just fluffy stuff. When it's real love, sometimes it can get pretty difficult, especially if we have a deficit within ourselves. And so that's a lot of the misconception of love, is that it's all fluffy stuff and we have to be super syrupy sweet and nice all the time to show people love. And that's just not true. But here is some of what the Bible says about love. In Romans 13, 9 through 10, this is out of the Mirror translation, it says, "Love makes it impossible for you to commit adultery, or to kill someone, or to steal from someone, speak evil of anyone, or to covet anything that belongs to someone else. Your only option is to esteem a fellow human with equal value to yourself. Everything love does is to the advantage of another." I'm going to say that part one more time. Everything love does is to the advantage of another. That doesn't sound like fluffy stuff to me. Therefore, love is the most complete expression of what the law requires. Okay. Now, if we look in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, that chapter 13 is pretty popular, even among those of you that may not know the Bible well, and that's where it talks about love is patient, love is kind, etc. But I'm going to read a portion of that out of the Mirror translation because it really kind of opened things up a little bit more for me. And I'm going to start in verse 3. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 3. "Love is not about defending a point of view. Even if I am prepared to give away everything I have and die a martyr's death, love does not have to prove itself by acts of supreme devotion or self-sacrifice. And that's kind of like, supreme devotion or self-sacrifice for whatever point of view. Love is large in being passionate about life and relentlessly patient. That's not fluffy stuff. Relentlessly patient in bearing the offenses and injuries of others with kindness. Love is completely content and strives for nothing. Love has no desire to make others feel inferior and has no need to sing its own praises. Love is predictable and does not behave out of character. Love is not ambitious. Love is not spiteful and gets no mileage out of another's mistakes. It bears no records of wrongs. So in other words, you can't bring up something that happened a month ago, a week ago, 6 years ago. Verse 6, love sees no joy in injustice. Love's delight is in everything that truth celebrates. Love is a fortress where everyone feels protected rather than exposed. So in other words, love is a covering. Love's persuasion is persistent. Love believes. Love never loses hope and always remains constant in contradiction. This is part of my favorite. Love never loses its altitude. Oh, I hear my kids. Sorry if you can hear that. If we ensure that we are not in a deficit of love, all of these things come so much easier to us. So when we've spent time with God, whether that be through prayer, worshiping, through reading His Word, through doing devotionals, any of those things, spending time with God and making sure that we do not have a deficit of love so that we can really live out all of these things and let our light shine for God, for other people. Thanks, guys, so much for joining me this evening. I hope this has helped you. Have a great evening.